Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to make this tres leches cake using a cake box mix. Alright, let's get started on the cake. Now, instead of the water, I used milk. Instead of this vegetable oil, I used coconut oil. And then I just followed the instructions on the back of the box. I also added 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 teaspoon of coconut extract. This cake is going to have a coconut flavor and a pineapple filling. And here we go. To get started on the filling, I have 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter here. And I'm just going to melt it down, and then I'm going to continue to cook it until it browns for me. I like a brown butter for almost all of my baking things. It adds such a deep flavor, but it's not necessary. And now to this browned butter, I'm going to be adding a half a cup of brown sugar. And now I wish I would have added the pineapple to this filling first and then added the brown sugar, because the brown sugar kind of froze up on me when the cold liquid hit it. It didn't really cause any problems because of course it melted out once I cooked it through, but I wish I would have done it the other way. So here goes the pineapple, and I have 2 cans of crushed pineapple here, and I got the one with the pineapple that was soaked in pineapple juice and not in heavy syrup. I would not recommend to ever use the one in heavy syrup, but you can if that's all you've got, but definitely I would check the sweetness. Now right here I have 1/8 teaspoon of salt going in, and you just always want to add a little bit of salt to all of your sweets because salt is a flavor enhancer. It's really important to sweets. So now we're just going to cook this out until all of the liquid is gone. And this is about halfway. I would say it took me about 10 to 15 minutes to cook out all the liquid on a medium-high heat. Now that the filling is basically completely dry of liquid here, I am going to make a huge mistake and add 1 cup of coconut flakes here. Now, this cake I am making on the fly with ingredients that I have and the craving that I have in my heart. I wanted something with coconut in it. I wanted tres leches. But even though the flavor is really good here, I did not like the texture. So right here we're going to go ahead and make the milk portion. I have 1 can of sweetened condensed milk, 1 can of coconut milk, and then I filled the rest of my container up to 4 cups, topping it off with heavy cream. Now, I wish I would have used regular milk here instead of heavy cream because the coconut milk and the cream, they're both kind of thick, so I just didn't like that. I wish I would have used milk. It was still good though, promise. And now right here, another 1/8 teaspoon of salt, and we're just going to whisk this together. And then off camera, I added 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract as well. Also, you don't have to use 4 cups. You could use 3 cups. I like my tres leches to have a lot of milk, so I would start with 3 and see if that works for you. So now I am just inexpertly cutting this cake in half, and I'm not great, but there it is. Basically, I'm cutting in half because I want to add that filling in. So I have half of the cake in the baking dish, and I'm just stabbing it all over the place because I want to open up the cake to really absorb the milk. Now here is the filling, and I'm just going to spread it all over this cake here. Filling is not necessary, and in fact it was between this one and an apple caramel filling, and my husband made the choice, the final decision for this one, so this is the flavor we went with. And I don't know, I mean, it was really good, but like I said, just don't add that coconut into the filling. So right here I'm just kind of pressing the sides so that it opens up, and I'm going to add half of my milk mixture in so that it can start to absorb into the bottom half of that cake. And there we go. I'm just doing it again, kind of just pressing it around to get that milk underneath there. Just give it a little head start. And now this cake took basically all of the milk. There was not very much milk left, but it was super thick, so kind of stayed a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. So like I said, start with 3 cups, see if that's what you like. But the bottom line is you just want to cover that cake almost completely. And then we're going to put this in the refrigerator overnight for about 6 to 8 hours. And then we're going to pull it out and we're going to put some cream on top. So here it is. This is actually the next day. And you can see this looks like more milk than it actually is. It's actually very little milk. So I am using a cream here on top. You can use Cool Whip or you can use homemade whipped cream. And I'll never tell which one I'm using here. But I will just say this. If I'm already using a cake mix, it doesn't really bother me to continue on using a prepackaged product. Don't at me. If you've seen some of my videos, I am into making homemade stuff. But sometimes you just got to have a little cheating recipe for yourself. So here it is, guys. This is pretty much it. I am just going to toss on some additional coconut, clean it up, eat this cake, and take pictures and stuff. And like I said, this is an on-the-fly recipe that I made, and I would definitely recommend making it. But if you make it, I would say leave the coconut out of the filling, and I would also say use whole milk instead of cream. But whatever 3 milks you have, it doesn't matter. This is not by any means a traditional tres leches cake. This is not my homemade version, my scratch version that I usually do. I wasn't even 100% certain that it could be done with a cake mix, but now I know that it can. And when I make this again, because I actually will make this again, I will definitely change those few things. Now this is straight out of the refrigerator, and I was pleased with it. But after I left it out for about 10 to 15 minutes, the filling came to temperature and it was really good. I mean, this cake was really good. I had no complaints despite the few errors. So anyway, guys, don't forget, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and come back to my kitchen anytime.